I think the game Hell Is Us is a sleeper hit to watch, and it does seem like an ambitious game. Okay, there's a handful of things I've noticed that I really want to put on your radar. I think we're going to see this game at the top of a lot of game of year lists for outlets and folks who chime in on this stuff. If you like these kind of quick opinion videos, be sure to hit subscribe. Now, I want to talk about the influence that is noticeable in this game. Now, sometimes people think that influence is bad if they sort of see a game signaling that, hey, we like this game or thought these were good ideas and we're going to incorporate them as well. I don't think it's bad as long as it's done in a way where the game still feels original. There's an undeniable influence from Death Stranding. It's sort of dark, it's macabre, it's sad. Even his sort of outfit with like the drone following him around feels very much like Death Stranding, but we can tell from the gameplay that it's not going to be that type of game. And the latest trailer, I really also noticed a lot of influence from Resident Evil, having these sort of dark and mysterious, sort of gross looking characters and NPCs that you have to interact with, this dark undercurrent within the story as things are getting infected or dying or being damaged. I even noticed some influence from Returnal, just with the way the combat flows and the way they sort of set up some of the sequences with the enemies, and that is related to one last piece of influence that I noticed. Souls games are impacting the market in a pretty big way. Elden Ring really put that into overdrive, and I know some people are getting a little bit tired of the Souls format. Like, every game comes out and you gotta rest by a fire and you lose stuff if you die. I don't know if they're going to be doing that in this game, but I can definitely feel from some of the melee-based combat there is some of that Souls influence. But beyond the influence, another thing that I really picked up on is the fidelity. First and foremost, the latest trailer, you really get a feel for the graphical fidelity when you look at the character detail. Some of the sequences and some of the back and forth, very, very high level here. I mean, this looks like a AAA game. We're seeing that high level quality coming from more and more studios. Even smaller or lesser known studios are cranking out games that just look incredible. Beyond the character detail, the world design I think is very cool and very original. It almost provokes intrigue and interest. You want to get in this game and figure it out, which I'll talk about that in a moment with gameplay. And that is also related to the art design. The art direction of this game, I do think, is very strong. Grabbing some of those influences that I talked about from like a Death Stranding and a Resident Evil, it really does, I think, set the tone well. The environments, the different environmental things that they're using to make it sort of dark and mysterious, but also something that sort of beckons to you that you want to go and investigate. And that's related to the gameplay. They've talked about this quite a bit. There's a lot of puzzle solving, exploration, and combat. You're kind of going to be moving between those three parts. And I think the way they've set up the trailers and the way they're using the world design and the art direction kind of in tandem, I want to explore and solve the puzzles, but I also feel this foreboding sense of threat, like there's stuff that's going to try to attack me, and that comes in with the content. And this is all, I think, tied together with the concept of the game. Interviews have really made it sound like this game is not going to hold your hand. There's not going to be a bunch of UI clues and pointers on where to go. They've talked about how it really is about genuine discovery and exploration, and I think that's really bold. That's really ambitious, because that could be a huge turnoff to people. Some people like that in a Souls game. They like that in those non-linear games where you don't really know where to go next, especially when it's punishing. In light of how many games that they are clearly signaling inspiration from, I think this is a pretty ambitious title. But to me, this is one of the sleeper hits this year. It's going to be one of those smaller titles, I think, that sneaks up onto the Game of the Year nomination list as long as it launches and it runs well and is a good experience. So I'm going to be checking it out day one. Are you? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss my live discussions. And I love it when you hit that like and comment button so then I can see you in the next video.